Hey there, CJ Math students. So I'm going to help you out today with notes 4.7, and we're really going to focus on evaluating or plugging in because on our last couple of homeworks that's been something that tricked us up. So a couple of things I want to go over. First is just to plug in. We're only going to do A in this row so we can skip these two guys. But when plugging in, we plug in with parentheses. So anytime I see an X, I'm going to put in 5 because that's what it told me X equals. So 3 parentheses 5 plus parentheses 2, we could say plus a negative 4 parentheses 5, and then close it up. Okay, now we just do order of operations. On the inside, we got to multiply these two guys first before we can add. And on the outside, we could multiply that. That's not going to affect anything there. So we get 15 plus 2 plus negative 20. So what did I just do in that step? I multiplied that to get 15, right? And I multiplied that to get negative 20. All right, now we do have to add these two first before we add 15. So we have 15 plus negative 18 is equal to negative 3. Okay. Now the next thing I want to teach you guys today is distributing a negative sign. So let's skip D and move on down to E. So to distribute a negative sign is like basically multiplying something by a negative 1. So you guys can go ahead, whenever you see this minus sign there, you could go ahead and say, all right, basically what we're going to do is we're going to multiply everything by negative 1 outside the parentheses. So negative 1 times 2 and negative 1 times 4x. When I do that, I get rid of the parentheses. So I have 3x minus 2 plus negative 4x. And now what could I do? I could combine like terms. So 3x minus 2 or plus negative 2 is the same thing, right? This and this get combined into negative 1x plus negative 2. And now I just plug in what x was, right? So it's negative 1. Remember, x was equal to 5, which is 5, plus negative 2. And so negative 1 times 5 is negative 5, plus negative 2 is negative 7. If I were you, I'd pause and rewind if you didn't get any of that because there's a lot going on there. All right, so this, again, plus, and it's a negative 1 that we're doing, plus a negative 1, plus a negative 1. Basically what we're doing is trying to simplify the expression first and then plug in just one time instead of 2 times, right? I plugged in twice in A, and we can do it easier than all these other ones. All right, so we have 3x, negative 2 times negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2, and then a negative 1 times 4 is a negative 4x. Again, we can combine this, and we get negative 1x plus 2. We have a positive 2 this time, not a negative 2. So we have a negative 1 times 5, because that's what x is, plus 2. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5 plus 2. Sorry, there's a negative sign there. Gives you negative 3. Okay, so what I want you guys to try and do, again, it's plus negative 1, right? Is to go through these ones in partners at the end of the video and try and do G through I, right? First, by distributing the negative 1, all right? We only do this when there's a minus sign up in front of a parenthesis. And then combining like terms and then trying to plug in for 5. All right, 2 is a little bit more practice of this, but instead of just using 5, we're using a whole bunch of different numbers. So what I want to do right here is we'll do a couple of these. We have a minus sign, so plus negative 1, right? We're distributing that negative, and we have 4y plus negative 3, right? Plus negative 1y. And now we plug in for 2. So 4 parentheses 2 plus negative 3 plus negative 1 parentheses 2. So we have 8 plus negative 3 plus negative 2. And 8 plus, we could just do these two first, right? When you have nothing but addition, it doesn't matter what order you do it in. So really this is 8 plus negative 5, right? I added those two together. Same signs I had to keep. I get 3 as my answer. Let's do a little bit of a trickier one, B. So we have the negative this time is over here. It's still plus, we're still distributing a negative 1. So it's almost like you can imagine this 1 going backwards into this. So like this. Doesn't matter if it's in front like it used to be or behind it. So we get a negative 2b plus a negative 1. and minus b, right? This becomes plus and negative, right? So negative 2b and negative b is negative 3b plus negative 1, and then we plug in negative 4 for b. So negative 3 parentheses negative 4 plus negative 1. This gives me a positive 12 plus negative 1, which is 11. Super complicated, going back and forth, right? All right, for this one, we'll distribute the negative this way. So negative c, we could do it backwards too, but let's just do it this way. Negative c and positive 3. So we have 6c minus 4 minus c plus 3. Why is that plus 3? Because negative times negative, right? And we plug in negative 7 this time. So 6 times negative 7 minus 4. Minus stays the same. This is important. And then I'm plugging in a negative 7. That's super important, right? The c itself is negative 7, and it's already a negative c. So a positive c is negative 7, so a negative c would be a negative 7, which will turn into a positive, right? Plus 3. So we have negative 42 minus 4. We could do keep, change all these. Keep, change, plus positive 7, right? Keep, change, plus 3. So this is negative 46 plus, those are two positives, 10, right? Gives us negative 36. Whole bunch of stuff going on there, right? What I want you guys to do is I want you to skip down. This is difficult stuff. Don't worry about it. I want you to skip this row and try out doing G through I, and maybe as a group we'll do J together. All right? That's it for part 1.